Imagine you are walking down a busy street in India for the very first time. The air is filled with the sound of honking horns and the energy of the crowd. But then, everything else fades away as you see it. A massive, gleaming stainless steel pot sitting right at the front of a small shop. It is draped with a bright red cloth, and as the cook lifts the heavy lid, a giant cloud of aromatic steam explodes into the air. You have just found biryani. Whether you are in the royal kitchens of Hyderabad, the busy lanes of Kolkata, or a small town in Tamil Nadu, biryani is more than just a meal. It is a national obsession. But have you ever wondered how a dish this complex with layers of rice and heavy meat comes out so perfect every single time? How does the meat stay so tender while every single grain of rice stays separate and fluffy? Most people think it is just a recipe. But as we are about to see, biryani is actually a high-stakes engineering experiment. It is a battle of steam pressure, hidden chemistry, and perfect timing. Why does the 70-80-90 rule determine if your dinner is a success or a failure? And is this incredible dish actually good for your health, or is it a metabolic time bomb? Grab your lab coat. We are deconstructing the world's most popular dish. Let's explain. To understand biryani, we have to start with the dum. In most cooking, you use direct heat. The fire heats the pan, and the pan heats the food. But biryani uses a much smarter system. We call it dum cooked, which literally means breath cooked. In those massive steel or aluminium pots you see at the shops, the secret is the seal. When a chef closes that heavy lid and seals it with a ring of dough, they are creating a tiny, pressurized world inside that pot. As the moisture in the meat at the bottom heats up, it turns to steam. In a normal pot, that steam would just float away. But in a biryani pot, that steam is trapped. It has nowhere to go, so it starts to build up pressure. This pressure does two amazing things. First, it acts like a hammer, forcing moisture deep into the fibers of the chicken or mutton. This breaks down the tough parts of the meat much faster than boiling ever could. Second, it creates a flavor fog. The steam picks up the scent of the cinnamon, the saffron, and the star anise, and forces those flavors directly into the heart of the rice. While regular rice is just boiled in water, biryani rice is pressure marinated by flavored steam. This is the secret to why the grains stay separate but taste like a five-star meal. It is not just cooking, it is flavor moving through pressure. If you travel to Hyderabad, you will find the most famous version of this dish, the Kachchi Biryani. This is where the timing becomes legendary. In this style, the meat goes in completely raw, but the rice is added in layers at different stages of being cooked. We call this the 70-80-90 rule. The chef knows that the rice at the bottom of the pot is going to be sitting in a pool of boiling meat juices for over an hour. If that rice were already fully cooked, it would turn into mush. So, that bottom layer is only 70% cooked. It still has space left to soak up all that rich, fatty flavor from the meat. The middle layer is cooked to 80% because it gets less liquid but plenty of hot steam. Finally, the very top layer is nearly finished, about 90% cooked before it even touches the pot. It relies on the leftover steam that has already traveled through all the layers below it. Think about the skill involved here. Without a single thermometer or a digital timer, the chef has to predict exactly how long it will take for 3 different layers of rice to finish cooking at the exact same moment. If they are off by even a few minutes, the entire batch is ruined. It is a masterclass in biological timing. Now, let's move south to Tamil Nadu. If you are in Amber or Dindigul, you will notice something immediately. The rice is different. Instead of the long, thin Basmati grains used in the north, the south uses a tiny short grain called Seeraga Samba. To a scientist, this is a brilliant choice. Basmati is beautiful, but it is fragile. If you use too much fat or stir it too hard, it breaks. But Seeraga Samba is a tough grain. Because it is smaller and rounder, it has more surface area to soak up the intense, spicy oils used in southern cooking. While Hyderabadi Biryani is known for being dry and airy, the Amber style is much juicier. The Seeraga Samba grains act like tiny sponges, wicking up the flavor of the mutton and the spices without ever falling apart. It results in a much more flavor-dense experience that feels substantial and rich. If you head east to Kolkata, the technology changes. Here, professional chefs often use massive copper pots called degs. Copper is one of the best conductors of heat in the world, which allows for incredibly precise temperature control. This is vital because Kolkata biryani is famous for its very delicate, subtle fragrances. And of course, there is the legendary Kolkata potato. Some people think it is just a filler, but there is actually a clever scientific reason for it. The Kolkata potato is a flavor capacitor. During the long cooking process, the potato, which has been lightly fried, acts as a sponge for the excess fat. While rice can only hold so much oil before it becomes greasy, the potato can soak up massive amounts of meat juice and spices. When you bite into that potato, you aren't just eating a vegetable. You are eating a concentrated bomb of biryani essence. Because the cover pot distributes heat so evenly, the delicate scents of rosewater and metha attar are preserved without being burnt away by the high heat. What makes biryani taste so complex? It isn't just about the fire, it's about the chemistry in the bowl hours before. This is the science of the marinade. Everything in that marinade has a job. The curd and the lime juice are the meat softeners. Meat is made of tight fibers that usually shrink and get tough when they hit heat. But the acid in the curd and lime acts like chemical scissors, snipping those fibers so they stay relaxed and juicy. Then we have the aromatic squad. True biryani doesn't need turmeric or pepper. It relies on high-impact spices. Chili powder is the engine that provides the heat, which triggers happy chemicals, called endorphins in your brain. The saffron and javitri, or mace, provide the elite scents. These oils are fat-soluble, meaning they need the ghee to carry them to your taste buds. And let's not forget the fresh pudina and coriander. These herbs aren't just for color. They contain essential oils that help your stomach process the heavy fats, making sure you don't feel bloated after the meal. The two heavyweights of the biryani world are chicken and mutton. But which is better? To a scientist, it comes down to a substance called collagen. Mutton is a hard protein. It is full of collagen, which is the glue that holds the animal together. To make mutton tender, you have to melt that glue into gelatin. This only happens if you keep the meat at a steady temperature for a long time. This is why mutton biryani is often richer and has a silkier texture. The fat and the gelatin from the meat actually coat every single grain of rice. Chicken is a soft protein. It has almost no collagen, which makes it much riskier to cook. If the heat is just a little too high, the chicken dries out and becomes stringy. However, chicken is a flavor magnet. It absorbs the spices and the acidity of the curd much faster than the dense mutton does. Now for the big question. Is biryani actually healthy? Let's look at the facts. On the plus side, biryani is a powerhouse of medicinal spices. The fresh mint and coriander help your digestion, and the ginger garlic paste is great for your immune system. It is also a complete meal with protein and carbohydrates. However, there is a catch. Most biryani uses polished white rice. This is what scientists call a high-speed fuel. Because the fiber has been removed, it hits your bloodstream like a bolt of lightning, causing a massive spike in your blood sugar. When you combine that sugar spike with the heavy fats from the ghee and the meat, your body enters storage mode. It stops burning fat and starts packing it away. This is the scientific reason for the biryani coma, that sleepy feeling you get after a big meal. Your brain is literally slowing down to focus all its energy on processing that massive influx of fuel. So, what is the final verdict? Biryani is an engineering marvel. It is a masterpiece of pressure, chemistry, and perfect timing. Is it good or bad? Scientifically, it is high-performance fuel. It is fantastic if you are going to be active, but less ideal if you are sitting at a desk all day. If you want the benefits without the metabolic crash, follow the Sal Protocol. First, eat the meat before the rice. This protein-first rule slows down the sugar spike from the starch. Second, use plenty of raita. The probiotics in the curd help your gut handle the heavy fats. Finally, always make sure there is plenty of fresh pudina and coriander. Those herbs are your best friends for a healthy stomach. Biryani is more than just food. It is a technical achievement. Respect the physics of the pot, understand the ingredients, and your body will thank you. I am Sal. Thanks for watching. Now, if you will excuse me, I have some thermal experiments to conduct with a fried plate of mutton dum.